Welcome to LifeTalk with Mariette. I am Mariette. This show is about the life lessons that shape us, what I've learned, what I'm still learning, and how we grow through challenge, awareness, and purpose. I will share personal insights to motivate and inspire you, and sometimes invite guests who do the same. At its heart, LifeTalk is about real stories, real growth, and meaningful connection. This is LifeTalk with Mariette. Motivational, inspirational, full of heart. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to Life Talk with Mariette. I'm your host, Mariette Kammer. And today's question is simply, are you living life or are you watching it? Think about that for a moment. We watch television, we watch social media, we watch other people travel, succeed, fall in love, build businesses, and have adventures. But how much are we participating in our own lives? I grew up with a father who didn't seem to need people. Recently, I met someone whose life experiences seemed to come more from old television shows than from his own adventures. Then I thought about the children growing up today, watching the adults around them and learning what life is supposed to look like. Today, we're talking about the difference between observing life and experiencing it. Are you creating your own stories or mostly watching someone else's? Now, let's talk about it. Let's get started. You're tuned in to Life Talk with Mariette. I'm your host, Mariette Kammer. So, in segment 1, we're going to meet the man who lived through television and friends. I'm telling you, those are all real stories. I just changed the names a little bit. So let's meet Bill. He's 72 years old, knows every Western, every sitcom, every television family from the past 50 years. It's true. He can discuss fictional characters for hours, but struggles to talk about his own adventures. He knows all the films, the credits, the people that were in there or who weren't in there. Oh my God. So, and he talks about this all the time. And he starts up from the same where he left off. It seems like that. Of course, it's not like that. But it's like you put on the same record on the record player. It's true. So, friends, I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating. So I put this question out and I said, why do old television shows feel so comfortable? Well, to me, they don't. I remember Lassie from when I was little, and then a few interesting films that we all remember. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, or a few others. I can't even think of them now, but One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was something for me that I watched over and over again, because every time I watched it, I would see something new again that I hadn't picked up. So that's okay. But I don't really like the older version, even 30 years, films from 30 years. So anyway, so the question was, why do old television shows feel so comfortable? Because they're predictable, they know the characters, the stories, and the outcome. Real life is much less predictable. Well, that's true. Okay, well, is that the real reason? Can television become a substitute for life? Yes. When we spend more time watching than doing, we begin living through others instead of ourselves. Yeah, that's very, very true. And I think we're all affected by that. But I don't want to let the cat out of the bag yet. But I just know where we're going and what direction we're going. I think in everybody's life, we have a little bit of that. I can already see it in my life. Yeah. So, okay. So we spend more time watching than doing. We begin living, or we just work and have or spend less time doing things for ourselves. That can be true. So what is the danger? That's the next question. Well, we stop creating new memories and begin recycling old ones. I don't like that. I have just recently put all memories on a pedestal in a very special archive and how important this all is. And I think I made also reference to it in one of my shows. That's very important to childhood and especially the towns you live, where you grew up. Remember just check it out on YouTube on my channel. So I think one of the topic is nothing stays forever, something like that. And so I put my memories really on a pedestal, on a very special pedestal. But going forward, what am I really doing with new memories? Well, I'll get to that in a minute. So in the meantime, please ask yourself, am I making memories too? I think I'm making memories in a business sense, because it is important to me. And I worked so hard all these decades. So I guess that's what I'm doing. Other people are traveling and this, that. And, anyway, I'll get to that. So in segment 2, let's move on. The family that doesn't need anybody. So the story is a mother has no friends. She has one high school friend. Her children, ages 6 and 7, rarely interact with other outside the family. Do children learn social habits by observation? Absolutely. Children watch adults constantly. So it was in my home like that. My father didn't, he was adamant about meeting strangers. When he walked in our neighborhood, he greeted everybody, very polite, everything, hardly had any conversation. He didn't reach out to anybody for anything, to borrow anything, nothing. He did it all on his own. That's how he wanted it. And my mother was a real social butterfly, meaning she really enjoyed people and an emotional exchange and many times a cry when she exchanged stories. And she enjoyed visiting her family, her sisters and brothers over, the weekend. So she always relied on my father to give her a ride or to come along. And most of the time he didn't want to. And there was always a big, pulling back and forth and come and not and this. And sometimes it ended up in an argument. So, and that really always upset her. And she lived like that for years, where she didn't live that emotional side in her, and she always was for a laugh and this and that. And how these two made it for 42 years, don't ask me. But they did. But I remember her crying many times because she missed that socialization, even though she worked every day, 3 jobs. So she met different people, but it's still different on the weekends. And she always wanted her husband to come with her. And then it was a big deal for him to change clothes and this. Now, oh my God, the stuff I heard as a kid. Oh my God, I'm telling you. Anyway, so children watch adults constantly. That's the answer. So, and what message are children receiving? Well, that relationships outside the family may not be important. Maybe I had a little bit of that, but maybe just a little bit because I grew out of it as I grew into an adult. And I would reach out to people all the time. Friendship was important. Socialization was important to me. I married a guy who, same way like my father. I didn't know that at the time when I was in my 30s. So that's exactly so. He did exactly what my father did. But you know what I did? I wasn't like my mother. I didn't stay home. I went out. That's it. I remember one New Year's Eve. This is actually a sad story. For me, it's not. But when you hear it, you probably say, oh, that poor woman. No, I'm not a poor woman. Meaning it was New Year's Eve. And I was looking forward to, how different restaurants or different bars have different celebrations that they put on just for New Year's Eve. And, I went out and I bought an outfit because I was always decked out to the hilt because I enjoyed dressing up. And wouldn't you know, he changed his mind. He stayed home. And you know what? I went out. I went out and I had a hell of a time. And he did that. We were married for 13 years. He was identical to my father. And my daughter is the same way. My daughter has her friend or friends, maybe two or three, long time. They've known each other. One friend, they went to school together. So that's over 50 years. And the other two friends, they've known each other for at least 20, 30 years. So she's very long term, my daughter. But she's also the very tight knit. And I see it in my grandchildren now, how they are. They're not socialized at all. And how my granddaughter, Sophie, went to London on her own initiative. That beats me. Maybe some of grandma, which is me, maybe some of my background rubbed off on her. So, but anyway, I give her a lot of credit for having done that. Now, the grandson, Max, he's like day and night. He doesn't want to see anybody, doesn't want to hear anybody, doesn't want to talk to anybody. He's only 22. He likes to be by himself. But do you know when he was 4 years old, when they were little, once a week, I would spend time with them and we would go to the same place. It was a play place. And as soon as we entered, he would go straight to one area where they had little cars and little Lego and you have to build and everything. And he was there for hours. And nobody was in there except him. He was by himself. Where my granddaughter, Sophie, she mingled with other people, had a nice time and made friends and at least talked to them while we were there, So, but no, you can't change it. No, I don't. As a little kid, he was like that. Really antisocial. And I don't want to say anymore. So, it is really what the kids are picking up from the mother and father. And I see that here with the mother has no friends and the kids love to go to school, but I never see any friends over, ever. And when I grew up, I loved friends. You know what? I couldn't have any friends over because my mother and father said, no, they just, now they had some really crazy comebacks. Now I'm going to share one of them. Oh, we don't want any kids in here. They're just looking to see what we have and everything. Are you kidding? But that's what they said. And I could never have anybody. And I never saw my mother and father having anybody over from, an outside person besides the family, her brothers or sisters with the family. So this is such a weird thinking and living. It's probably not weird to them. It's all normal. To me, it's not normal. It's a bunch of crap. Because here's what it is. A relationship outside the family may not be important to them, yeah? But how does it affect them in later life? They may struggle to build friendships and community connections, and this is what I'm saying, folks. You see that in a lot of adults today. They cannot connect with people. People go to meetings at chambers and who knows whatever functions they have. The adults have problems connecting with others because also from the childhood, don't talk to strangers, don't do this, don't do that. That's where it's coming from. And now all of a sudden you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s. You're supposed to connect with people. That's impossible when you were raised that way. To me, that is the most unhealthiest way of being brought up. I think it's sick. To me, it's sick. This is my personal opinion. It's not normal. It's not healthy. And it doesn't make any sense. Now, I want to tell you, since I'm working all the time, I dedicated my life to my work, to my projects, to new creations and everything. So I need a lot of downtime when I'm not working or when I'm exploring and this, that, and the other. And just up to a couple of years ago, I would always have our crew LifeTalk from the radio and all different people over at my house to cook, and we would take turns cooking at another house. So it ended up just being myself and Norma. The guys never did. They hardly brought anything, even though we asked them to bring something. And instead of arguing with them, we just forget it. Don't bring anything. Just okay. So that was nice up to a certain point, and then it got to the point where some of the crew just expected it, and I'd rather be by myself, or go for a walk, or spend time with my cat, or read. So why do this when others don't reciprocate? And it's very, very hard for me with all my time spent during the week. I have 3 television shows and see clients. It's very tough for me to go shopping, food shopping, and to prepare a big meal and to entertain them maybe on a Sunday, for 5-6 hours. That's what we had done in the past. I can't do that anymore. I'm not interested, even though I still love to cook and everything, and I probably would do it if it was reciprocated, but it just doesn't make me feel good anymore. I'm glad I got rid of them. Not all of them, but the ones that didn't reciprocate. That's what I'm saying. So now let's move to segment 3. My father didn't need people. Here it comes. My father never seemed to need friends. He worked, came home, he stayed within his own world. He did this religiously. Got up at 4:30 in the morning, was at work at 6. Came home at 5, changed his clothes, went out in the garden. He always had something in the garden to do, either build a greenhouse or a compost area, or he built something underneath the garage, that room, he expanded it, and he always did something. So, and if he felt like it, he maybe would watch a little bit of TV, but his life was work. And my mother, the same way, she worked just as much. And so I think they were a matching team for 42 years. She had her own money. He had his own money. He was very secretive about what he had. So I think they were a good match. Now that I'm talking about this, they were good. She didn't rely on him. And, he took care of the mortgage and saved the rest of the money. That's what he did. He was able to do that because of my mom. So, and I remember I was a little kid. We lived in an apartment building, 4-story or 5-story. And he couldn't wait to move out of there. That's why he built a house, had a house built in 1955, and that was a big deal. Because he just couldn't stand living with other people. So he built a 1-family house, even though the whole neighborhood was zoned for 2 or 3 family homes, mostly 2. No, he wanted to live by himself. He didn't want the extra income. He just didn't want it. So, okay, well, he got now they made a 3-family house out of it. I told you that in one of those stories, So anyway, but that was his thing. How much do our parents influence our social behavior? More than most people realize. Can emotional habits be inherited? Not genetically, but through observation and repetition. I see this in my grandkids. Now, I don't know where I got this from, but when Sophie comes home from the college, she goes to Regent College in London. When she comes home, when they have a break in May and then they start up in August again, she would come home and, happy to see me and this and crying and this. And when she left, she would never even say goodbye to me. And that really hurt me. And I addressed it one time with her, and she thinks nothing of it. She doesn't owe me anything, she told me, which was another dig. I don't know where this. Anyway, so this year, my daughter and son-in-law, they went to London. And again, the night before, I wished them a good flight and this, that, and the other. And, safe flight and have fun and blah, blah. My daughter didn't contact me till she said, she texted me, we're just boarding the plane. We'll touch base with you once I'm over in London. But at least she said goodbye. I don't know where I got it from, what situations from my mother and father, that you always say goodbye when you go somewhere or this, that, and the other. You don't just quietly disappear. I find that very hurtful. Do you? I couldn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that. I can't change it. I can be feeling hurtful, or here's another thing you probably have experienced yourself. Some of us reach out more than others, where they never call you unless you call them, but maybe they answer. If you're lucky, if they have a good day, they're answering. But most of the time you can leave messages or whatever, and it's like you're not even doing it. It's like they never received it. Have you ever experienced anything like that? I find that weird too. That doesn't come from my upbringing. I want you to know that. Well, it always takes two sides, right? What we inherit from the mother and father, right? But no, that doesn't come from me. So when people contact me, I reply, always. So can those patterns be changed? Yes, once we recognize them. Well, they don't recognize them because nobody's saying anything. That's all normal to them. And I have stopped being hurt because I have accepted the fact, if they want to call back, great. If they don't, it took me a while. It took me a few years to get to that point, but I am at that point. So, and sometimes they're nice and they're happy, and other times they don't even know you. I'm sure this must be a pattern throughout society. I'm sure it can't just be in our family. Well, those patterns can be changed. I recognize them. I can't change that in them. Are you kidding? Absolutely not. And it's hurtful. And I'm doing all of this. I'm talking about it because there may be many people out there that it's painful. 1 minute they're so nice to you. Oh my God. And the next minute it's like they never knew you. I found that also very strange. I don't think I've ever been like that. And my parents were not like that. They either left it all alone, or they were in. And they were always in with the family. The family was always first. Neighbors, they didn't care to have in their house. I grew up in Europe. It was in custom that if you moved into the neighborhood, the new neighbor would come by and bring you cookies or cake or I don't know. I remember it is customary when somebody has a communion that some of the neighbors would come by and bring a little gift. That was customary. Or when somebody got married, they would bring either a little gift or a card or whatever. So they have their nice customs too, but it's not like here, the neighbor, oh, I'm your neighbor, how are you? If you ever need anything, oh, you need a lawnmower? No problem, I'll buy it for you. I'll put it on my credit card. No, I'm being silly. But you know what they always say. If you ever need anything, call me. Let me know, reach out. Okay? So whether they really mean it, that's a whole nother thing. So let's move on. The difference between being alone and being isolated. Many people say They enjoy being alone. Yes, I'm one of them. Others are alone because they have withdrawn from life. I have not withdrawn from life. I may not have traveled as much as you have. I may not go to social functions like you have, but I have a lot of social functions through business. So is solitude unhealthy? No. Healthy solitude can be restorative. That's how I feel. And knowing myself, my mind constantly has to be busy, 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 has to be stimulated. So, and sometimes, and especially the last few months, I've had more quiet times because I've had a health issue on a daily basis, on 24/7 basis. Healthy solitude can be restorative. So, what is isolation? Isolation occurs when connection disappears completely. Nah, I don't have that. But that's so sad. That is so sad. And a lot of people will say, well, I take care of my husband. He's been sick. I take care of my mother. Yes, you still have some functions during the week. But then when you're by yourself, you put on these old TV shows, these old radio shows, and your entire life is all about taping the shows, watching them, rewinding them and you're happy with it. This is a real case. So then I come and I want to introduce you to another world on the outside. You're not interested. It's too light. It's too dark. You talk about the weather. You skip giving me an answer. I can't have that. That's all right. How do you know the difference? Healthy solitude is a choice. Isolation often becomes a lifestyle, and that's true. I never want to become isolated, but you know what? I just started saying that I've had health issues for the past few months. Every day, it's a chronic pain, right? So I was not able to do my work or run around outside to go to the grocery store. Very limited version of it, or do my normal activities. So when you are in chronic pain, I can see, because you're so busy with your body, listening to your body, and what can I do now? And I need another appointment with the doctor, or I need to see somebody else, a specialist. I can see that can bring you into isolation. And that's a very sad thing, but that's easy. I can see that. When you're in chronic pain, you don't feel like moving around, just getting out of bed, you feel this heaviness. Just pushing your body, putting one step in front of the other is a big deal. And you feel it in your body, you feel it in your breathing, you feel it in your thinking and the way you feel. And sitting was the most comfortable position. And that's what I was seeking. And finally it became so bad that I went to the doctor again, and now I'm seeing a different doctor, and he happens to be a chiropractor, and I'm seeing some relief. I just went there. Today is the 31st of May. I just went there on the 27th of May, and I'm feeling some relief. This, of course, will come in stages, and I'm very happy about that. But I have to tell you, I also exchanged my mattress. It was one of those older mattresses, brand new looking, 15 years old, the double-sided. You can sleep on double-sided. You know what I learned? They don't make double-sided. They still make double-sided mattresses, but on the market you will find one-sided mattress. You can flip it over and sleep on the other side, and that has something to do with most frames that they're offering now, where the head tilts or the foot tilts up, and and so forth. So, and I have to tell you, I threw that mattress out. That was a big thing. Throwing that out was a very emotional thing. I don't know why. Because I think I blamed that mattress, sleeping on that mattress for so long. I got rid of my office chair, got a new chair. So, and right in the beginning, this was maybe almost 3 months ago, I went to a store to look at a mattress. And don't ever go to a store when you're in pain. You can't lay on the damn thing. So, but in the meantime, I didn't buy it. It was he was selling me a $4,000 mattress with lighting underneath. Do I need lighting under my mattress? Tell me. Under the bed is lighting. Now, what am I going to use that for? So, but that was the start of my journey, educating myself. What type of mattress I need has something to do with how you sleep, on your back only, or side to side, or whatever. So I got a whole folder of, and I keep learning. They're all telling me something different or an additional thing that I didn't know. So, but I need a hybrid mattress, extra firm. That's what I need. And it's not just my back, my entire body. It's not just that. It wasn't just one cause, the chair and the mattress. No, it's other things too. It has something to do with medication that I'm taking, and I'll discuss that with my doctor when I see her in a few days. So I am determined to get to the bottom of it, and it's not arthritis. So, to make a long story short now, being isolated, it's very, very easy. I can see that. And when I finally had enough, because at first I kind of self-diagnosed it, but then when it took over the entire body, that was something very new. And I went straight to the doctor. So anyway, we're talking about isolation, not my doctor's visits, but I had to bring you in on that. So let's move to the next one. Living through other people's experiences. Now, a lot of people. Codependence, we're calling this. Some people watch travel shows, cooking shows, dating shows, adventure programs, but rarely participate themselves. Hey, what's wrong with that? I love travel shows. Oh, I love it. Mount Everest, I can't get enough of it. And all the people that are in the waiting line to get up to the summit, and it's just amazing, and all the stories and how they first started, the first people that climbed Mount Everest. Though I can always watch it, or any documentary film that's well done. I just absolutely love it. I don't necessarily need to go there. I don't feel like I have to go there. If I got a free trip to Mount Everest, would I go? I don't think so. But just from where you land, I think it's in Nepal, just from your land and getting to base camp, that's a journey in itself. Would I ever participate in it? Would I have the interest? No, absolutely not. But I total value when I watch it. I totally value it and listen to people's experience and everything. Now, cooking shows. Now I enjoy that. How good the chef handles cooking under pressure and how creative they are. I just really, really love it. And would I want to do a cooking show? No. I don't think I'm that much interested in cooking to learn, to become, no, not at all. But I love it. So travel shows for me, cooking shows. Dating shows, absolutely not. Dating shows, folks, absolutely not. Whether they're for people under 30 or for seniors uh, starting at 50. Absolutely not. I have no interest. I have no interest how these dating shows are designed by the television people to get ratings. There's no dialogue. It's idiotic for me. Uh, the candidates are not schooled at all. They just put them, okay, you have 7 minutes, and then you move on to the next one. And some of them, they're not all like that. To me, a dating show could be a natural setting. And I remember back in the 80s, here in Westport, I belonged to a group, and we would have outings. And there are people that signed up for it. And it was in a natural setting where people got to know one another. And they had to sign up for different chores, cooking, cleaning up. And we all had to divide chores. And that's where you meet. There, you don't say, oh, you come here often? Yeah, right. I come here in the woods in Kent. Yeah, sure, every day. After my work, I stop in, sure. So some of the dating shows, it's just not, it's just from the intellect. It's stupid. It's not for me. Adventure programs, some of it I enjoy. But not here, afraid, naked and afraid and all of it. That's no, that's not for me. It's just not for me. So I pass on all of this, except the travel and cooking shows. I love it. Yeah. So anyway. Why do we enjoy watching other people live? It allows us to experience excitement without risk. Yeah, I think so when I watched Mount Everest. Yeah, I can see that. And you kind of wonder, they're running out of oxygen. Why are they doing this? And oh my God. And, they really, instead of standing in line to climb up to the top, the weather is changing and they only have a window to get back to Camp 4. Why are they doing that? They stand probably to say I was so close to it, but then I returned, and who knows? I don't know. But I think I like that experience, the excitement, and I have no risk. I never thought of it, but that's what it would be for me. What are we missing? Oh yeah, here it comes. Growth, uncertainty, challenge, and discovery. I say nothing to them. I don't need a challenge like Mount Everest. I do, if I want to travel, I would love to go on a cruise ship. I would love that. I have done that in the past too. Or to an area with a group of people where I've, like maybe France or different areas. I'm open for it. I just haven't taken myself up to do it. I haven't brought myself to do it because of work and this, that. You really need to plan for that because you need to take time off and this and that. And I never wanted to do that. And now with COVID, so you all of us got into a rut. And then to get everything moving again, you certainly don't. I didn't have travel on the brain. No, you want to go back and making a living and not, look, I'm not retired yet. I don't want to retire. My work is important to me. My work is my purpose. So travel is not on the brain. However, I like to watch the shows. Okay, you got it. So what are we missing? Growth, uncertainty, challenge, and discovery. Okay, well, so be it. Can observation replace experience? Never. And I never said that it can replace experience. No. Watching is not the same as doing. For instance, what I love hang gliding. I love suit flying. Oh my God, I can watch that. Suit flying is very, very fast. It's exciting. It's wonderful. Would I ever do it? No, absolutely not. but I enjoy watching it. I really do. So, can't have everything, right? Okay, let's move to segment 6. Technology, connection or distraction. People today have hundreds of online contacts, but often very few meaningful relationships. I got TikTok 18,000 with the 2 accounts. I got Facebook 6,000. I have maybe on Facebook 10 meaningful relationships. People that maybe 15. People that they're in Europe, people that I write to and we converse and all of this. Now I have more people that comment on my postings, but people that I actually know through Facebook. I know what they look like. I've never met them in person, but I have talked to them on the telephone, and I had them on my TV programs and my radio programs. As a matter of fact, I'm working with Wolf Ring. He's a travel journalist, and he goes all over the world. I've been working with him for 8-9 years now. And Wolf is 79, and he's one of the rare breeds. Now, you can see the show on YouTube, The Rare Breed, and it happens to be in German, folks. It happens to be in German. We did the show in German. So, are we more connected today? Well, technologically, yes. Emotionally, not always. Can social media create the illusion of friendship? Yes. Following someone is not the same as knowing them. True. I had this couple on from New Jersey a few years back, consistently on my radio program. Laura and Jim, I leave out, those are their real names. I leave out their last name. And they enjoyed being on the radio with me. And now one of their sons, they had a baby girl. They're now 6 months. Baby is 6 months old, and they just love photographing. Taking photos of the little baby, the little sweetheart, and just tell the world how much they love that little sweetie. And I enjoy that. I always answer with joy back, and it's meaningful to me because even though they would not consider being on TV now, or it was for a certain length of time, a certain window of opportunity, and now they're just at a different point in their life. And Laura and Jim, they always traveled, always photographed everything and documented it right on Facebook. And he wrote a fly fishing book and just different things. And I have a journalist. She's in Berlin working for a radio station, very well connected. I talk to her all the time. So there's certain people, and I built that Facebook with their artists because I love art. I love paintings and everything. And so I wanted to be in that group of people, but I don't use it for business purposes. Occasionally I post, a business announcement or whatever. But some people I feel close to, but I had a connection with them, a telephone call or whatever, or they worked with me on air. Of course, it's never the same as knowing them, but you feel, listen, no, I got to tell you something. There are people that never meet, and they work together for 8, 9, 10 years, 15 years, they've never met in person. And I have 3 of those in my surrounding. And I feel like I know them. We talk every day. We share our life, our business life, everything. Never met them in person. So it is true that you can have certain connections. You connect with people and you've never seen them in person or shook their hand. But you're with them emotionally and mentally, and it feels like you've met them. So I'm glad I thought of this because that is true. Let's move over to the fear that keeps people on the sidelines. Many people want to join groups, meet friends, volunteer, travel, or date, but never take the first step. Well, I always wanted to join groups. And then when I joined them, meaning I tested it out, I said, I don't like them. I don't like any of them, the way they think, and, no. So I stayed away from groups. Meet friends, yes. Volunteer, absolutely. I've made great friends through me volunteering. Absolutely. Travel, I've met some people, but nothing lasting. I can't say, oh, I hung out at airport such and such, and I have this long-standing relationship with somebody in Hong Kong or wherever. No. But I have to tell you, I have an acquaintance. She's now 92. Her name is Josie. That's her real name. And she traveled a lot. She traveled to, I don't know, over 200 countries in her lifetime. And she is just a social butterfly when she is traveling, and she talks to anybody and everybody. And all of the stories she's been telling me, they made friends and they write each other. They became pen pals for years, whether they send a Christmas card or Easter or whatever, or just a letter. So she's been doing this. But do you know, in her real life, she doesn't have anybody. Isn't that interesting? And it's almost like in her real life, she has a hard time keeping that relationship going, and I'm talking about a friendship relationship. Yeah, and she lives local too. But you should hear the stories more. She met so-and-so and she was there, and it's all true. And all the people that she met and people that are still writing to her. Yeah, keeping people at a distance, she feels comfortable with that. And she just thinks it's the biggest thing, Hey, to each their own. I mean that really sincerely. And there's nothing wrong with that. What can I tell you? So, volunteer works for me because we're on the same path, the same mindset to help others. And that's very genuine. And I love that. Date, but never take the first step. Look, I take the first step, whatever I want. If I want to date right now, I know what I have to do. So I have to spend 3 hours in front of the mirror, get myself 2 or 3 wardrobes with a built-in closet. And I have to invest time and money into all of this. I'm not interested. Look, my friends and my babies are my TV show. My friends, and my meaning is you, producing these programs for you. That, to me, gives me a lot of satisfaction. To be able to put programs together and maybe 1 or 2 things that will hit the chord with you, and it will help you. So those are my babies. Those are what is important to me. What keeps people from participating? Fear of rejection and failure. Nah. You just need confidence. You just need to believe that's what I want to do. I want to join a group, let's say the chamber. I need confidence to do that. So, and in the groups, when the groups are meeting, I have to start talking to the others, or maybe just sit there like a wallflower and go back home. I have had a real case She went to every meeting, chamber meeting, and she collected 500 business cards from other people. I said, did you ever call them? No. I said, give me a few. And let's see if they remember you. Of course, they didn't remember, you know. So that's nonsense. That's really nonsense. So volunteer. I constantly volunteer. Traveling, if I could take off half a year, let's just say, right? I would do it. A brand new car, I might want to drive. I might not. I might just want to fly. I don't know. I would have to design what I would want to do. But it would have to be, I have to take at least 3 months off. Not 6 months. That's a little overdoing it. That's when you win the lotto. And I don't play lotto, so I can't take 6 months off. Because I don't, you can't win lotto if you don't play lotto. Right. So, but traveling, I would do. Yeah. And the dating, I already told you what I feel about that. I wouldn't even make a show of the dating stuff. And especially, oh my God, the 80-year-old I see sometimes on the reels on TikTok and everything. Oh, we found our love. We are 81 years old. And, you know, he came to see me and we looked at each other and I asked him to stay. It's very cute when an 82-year-old says that. But look, that's just not for me, okay? I'm not the right woman for that. Okay, let's move on. What, or just simply fear? Do confident people have less fear? No. They simply act despite it. What happens when fear wins? Well, you don't do anything, you stay home. That's what happens. We're almost out of time, but I'll get through it. What are you missing while you watch? A woman realized she spent 10 years watching other people enjoy life while she stayed home. How do people wake up to this realization? Usually after a loss, retirement, health scare, or major life change. Health scare and major life change for me. I definitely, would say. Some never come to a realization. They don't get it. What is the first step back into life? Doing something new and uncomfortable. Yes, uncomfortable. I like that. So a lot of people, oh, don't go uncomfortable. Oh, no. Well, that's how you grow. Okay. So is it ever too late? No. Growth has no age limit. And I will believe that till I have to go from this earth, because I generally believe that. And I've always been very lucky that I was able to change what I needed to change when change was necessary, and experienced also life that changed me, where life had the saying, life itself changed me. So, because if you don't want to change, life will take over and it will change it for you. So, I have a couple of minutes left. A widow joins a book club at age 74. A retired accountant volunteers at 70. A grandfather learns technology at 78. Good for you, Grandpa. 78, you learned that, a computer, you can travel every single day and talk to anybody and everybody in the world. Why do some people continue growing? Well, they remain curious. That's the key. That's the ingredients. What keeps them young? Purpose, learning, and engagement. That's what I live by. Purpose, learning, and engagement. What can we learn from them? That life can expand at any age. So you know what? The people that are on this journey, purpose, learning, and engagement, we're the rare breed. Please, I made other shows on the rare breed in English. Go to my YouTube channel, please, and check it out. I don't know it. I don't have it in front of me right now. And our last segment, are you living life or watching it? Well, television can entertain us. Social media can inform us, but neither can live our lives for us. The question is not whether life is happening. The question is whether we're participating in it. Till next time, I'm Mariette, and you be well.